Y10K fractured. Chapter 6. I have to agree, Captain Prothos said, studying the initial report compiled by Santron's arch-steward. It reads like a stockpiling operation. But to what end? If your estimates on the Mandarian marble alone are accurate, you could refloor every home in Aramythica. I doubt Lord Olorusny is renovating his castle. It's so far gone it would be simpler to raze it and start again. The attempt at humor fell flat. Taurus did not respond, and Santron masked his displeasure behind practiced composure. I have no interest in resurfacing the entire district, Santron said evenly, nor do I believe Java is engaged in idle renovation. What concerns me are the disappearances, both those documented here and those in Aramythica proper. Prothos leaned back, considering. He had taken the seat nearest the fire and nursed a small glass of Wasu melon mornicus mist. All humor aside, he said at last, it suggests a conscripted workforce, a large one, most likely drawn from Olorusny's own peasantry. The missing persons of note, those with skill or uncommon ability, are being taken deliberately. What leads you to that conclusion? Taurus asked. Java employs a healer capable of restoring Ericor's tongue, Prothos replied. One of my sources confirmed it. The same source reports my contacts in Olorusny are being identified and eliminated or forced to flee. That level of precision isn't chance. It implies a system, a catalog of people and their abilities. Those deemed useful are taken. It is a disturbing logic, Santron said quietly. The marble still troubles me, Prothos continued. Steel, timber, textiles, those I understand. Infrastructure, industry. But marble? It is decorative. It enhances a structure. It does not form its core. Why so much of it? That is a question my uncle will answer, Santron said. Or answer for. I would give much to have working agents still in Olorusny, Taurus said. That is no longer feasible, Prothos replied. As you said, most are dead or gone. I would advise against entering that district yourself, not until Java is dealt with, perhaps not until Agros as well. Santron leaned forward slightly. Then we change the angle, he said. Examine each individual taken. Identify their abilities. If this is a coordinated effort, the selection itself may reveal the purpose. Porthos considered, then nodded. I will have Deputy Tropus begin compiling that information. If records fail us, he will gather it firsthand. I face a different difficulty, Santron added. 2 lines of inquiry. One here, one in Aramythica. I cannot pursue both. I can assign men within the guard, Porthos said. Reliable ones. They will observe your suspects within the palace and report directly to me. Taurus glanced at him. You've been refining your ranks? Yes, Majesty. The worst elements are gone. It has made certain senior officers uncomfortable. Some were agents. Others have been persuaded to reconsider their loyalties. I now have a core I trust. You will not have to contend with the upper ranks much longer, Taurus said. I believe an elevation is warranted. Lord Aramythica? Santron's brows lifted. Elevation? He is already a captain. Commander of the Palace Guard, Taurus said. Possibly Commander General of the Royal Guardian Service. Santron hesitated. A significant advancement. It places him among lower nobility, and within a far more dangerous circle. He is already learning, Taurus replied. Additional instruction will not overburden him. Santron studied Prothos for a moment, then inclined his head. Then I see no reason to oppose it. Taurus turned to Prothos. By the authority of the crown, you are elevated to Commander General of the Royal Guardian Service. All prior command structures are superseded. Your charge is the security of this throne and the family it protects. In this, fail not. Prothos rose, then knelt. You may rise, Taurus continued, offering a signet seal. Carry out your duties as you see fit. Formal confirmation will follow on the morrow. Thank you, Majesty, Prothos said, taking the seal. I will not fail you. He departed at once. Santron watched him go, then set down his glass. I had heard your father took a more militant course in his final years, he said. Now it seems that shift began earlier. How far did he go? Taurus exhaled lightly. I do not know, he admitted, only that he trusted Prothos' judgment in rooting out corruption. I have extended that trust, and thus far it has not been misplaced. Santron gave a faint, knowing look. The palace has become less permeable, he said. You mean more difficult to spy within? Taurus replied, a trace of humor surfacing. Yes, I've noticed. Santron allowed himself a small chuckle. We do have a habit of watching one another. A habit we all pretend is subtle, Taurus said, when in truth it is anything but. Court life, Santron said, lifting his glass again. A comedy at times. Taurus nodded. Prothos has operated with minimal oversight since my coronation, he added. 18 days ago. You see the results. Tomorrow I will ensure he understands he answers to the throne alone. Santron's expression sharpened slightly with interest. I believe I should learn more about this stallion you trust so completely, he said. He took a measured sip of his brandy. He stormed into the palace officers' quarters before word of his promotion had even reached them. Several of the senior guards barely had time to turn before he drove them back, hard, into the stone walls. The impact knocked the breath from them and left them slumped at the base, groaning. Jodin, the former palace guard commander, surged to his feet, fury blazing in his eyes. He had no idea what he was facing. There's a new order in this palace, Prothos said, his voice cutting through the room. Mine. Jodin snorted. Over my dead body, colt. Prothos moved without warning. Using his power, he seized Jodin, lifting him clear off the floor, tightening the grip until the stallion went rigid, unable to move or breathe. Prothos drew him close, muzzle to muzzle. Then he raised his hand, slowly, so the royal signet caught the light. Not today, Prothos said quietly. You're going to live. Jodin's eyes flicked to the seal. You're going to walk out of this palace, Prothos continued, his tone low and deadly calm, and you're going to carry a message. He paused for a beat. You will tell Aracor this. The next time he sees me, I take more than his tongue. Jodin tried to speak, failed. Don't insult me with denials, Porthos added. I know who you serve. I know about the healer. Next time we meet, it won't be in Olaresny where he can hide behind such things. Porthos released him from his power. No, threw him. Jordan slammed into the far wall and dropped hard. Out, Prothos said. Silence. By order of the crown, out, all of you. One of the guards staggered to his feet. You expect us to walk into that storm? You can face the blizzard, Prothos said, voice rising just enough to carry, or you can face me. That settled it. His chosen men stepped in behind him, quiet, ready. The room emptied in seconds. Boots pounded, doors slammed. The disgraced guards were driven out into the screaming night. Porthos stood still for a moment, surveying the quarters. Disgust flickered across his face. Then he turned and moved deeper into the suite, into the corridor that led to the commander's office. Timing mattered. Joden could not be allowed near what was inside. Porthos entered the office and began tearing through it with methodical precision. Desk, shelves, drawers, even the floor beneath his boots. Deputy Tropus returned just as Porthos stamped down hard on a section of boards. Looking for something, sir? Records, Porthos said without looking up. Lists. Anything worth having. He stamped again. A different sound this time. Hollow. Porthos paused, then looked down. I think I found it, he said. Help me pull this section up. Yes, sir. Tropus stepped forward. It must irk you, Tigress, Countess Stirlingfield said, not turning from the boarded windows. A stallion of your abilities, sent to chase after me. The barb landed. Tigress did not rise to it. I am sorry to hear about Lady Cladista. Nekabit spun on him, fury flashing. You scarcely knew she existed. Don't pretend otherwise. I knew enough, Tigress said evenly. She was your closest friend. You intended to sponsor her to the princess after your debutante. I have lost friends as well. I know what this feels like. A flicker. There. And gone. Her wings twitched. She turned back toward the fire. A servant moved quietly at the hearth, setting the flame. Tigress remained standing where he was, uninvited to sit. The doors to the suite stood open. Guards lingered beyond, granting space without abandoning their post. Cladista was a victim, Nekabit said at last, her voice low but charged. Like every mare in this society. Married off for advantage. It killed her and her foal. You have barely reached, and you don't think I see them? She cut in, rounding on him again. The looks, the calculations, the stallions who think I am something to be won, or worse, taken. They don't care whether I find them worthy, only whether my father does. Her gaze locked onto his. I am no one's prize, she said, and I am no one's foal bearer. Silence held for a moment. You believe you can choose differently? Tigress asked carefully. Who said I wanted a husband at all? She shot back. From what I've seen, marriage is either a death sentence or a lifetime of servitude. I would rather learn the sword. If my father is so concerned for my safety, let him allow me to defend it. Tigress shifted, recalibrating. We are not opposed in this, he said. You are not the first to see the need for change, and you will not be the last. But you are working within a system that does not bend quickly. She studied him now, anger giving way slightly to curiosity. Go on. If you are presented at court this spring, as expected, you would do well to listen, Tigress continued. The Dowager Queen Mother Dalisa, Queen Amentressa, both operate within the structure and still move it. That gave her pause. I've been around the edges of court all my life, she said slowly. Yet you speak of them as though you know them well. I am required to know, Tigress replied. I cannot serve your father or this district without understanding how the royal house thinks. Her expression sharpened. And how much of this, she asked, finds its way back to my parents? As much as you choose to tell them, Tigress said. This is a family matter. I am only here because your father asked it of me. I will report if called upon, but not before. She weighed that. He will not be pleased, Tigress added. If he returns, Mechabit said quietly, glancing toward the boarded windows. From the sound of that storm, flight is death. Tigress followed her gaze. I doubt he would attempt it, he said. He hoped he was right. To call a stallion like Ericor excited would have been an overstatement. Anticipation did not suit him either. He had been waiting a long time for what was coming. He knew it was coming, not through any gift of power, but through careful design. No, he was not excited, but he would enjoy what came next. Ericor moved through the tunnels toward Lormara district, traveling on Java's business. These passages were older, unrestored, nothing like the polished lines now being brought back into service. He had mapped them long ago, every turn, every exit. A flicker of light caught his eye. He slowed, then turned back. A single lamp sat on the edge of an unfinished platform. Here, over here. The voice was familiar. Ericor exhaled, already expecting inconvenience. What has gone wrong this time? He asked, folding his arms. A small, hunched figure emerged from the shadows, shrinking slightly in the dim glow. I saw Joden, the stallion said quickly. He's been expelled from the palace. He was flying south, toward the station beneath Castle Sintram. That earned Ericor's full attention. How do you know he was expelled? He asked, his tone calm. He wasn't dressed for flight, the agent replied. Half-clothed, no armor. A stallion running doesn't leave that behind. Ericor studied him for a moment. That was why he kept this one. Unremarkable, but observant. I will hear the rest from Joden directly, Ericor said at last. You've done well. The figure straightened slightly. I'll have supplies sent to you once I've concluded matters in Lormara. Gratitude came quickly, quietly. Ericor turned and took to the air again, continuing south. Joden's removal was disruptive, but not necessarily harmful. Not yet. He would reserve judgment until he heard the full account. Only then would he decide how much damage had truly been done. Joden arrived at the restored Centron Prime station, exhausted, wings heavy, movements unsteady. His sudden appearance from the direction of the palace stirred immediate concern among the workers. He was half frozen. They brought him straight into the station master's office to warm him. Pegasus found him settled in a corner chair, wrapped in a blanket, hands curled around a cup of hot vegetable broth. He drank in small, careful sips, saying nothing. Pegasus returned to her terminal. The line still wasn't stable. Without constant updates, the crews below wouldn't be able to complete the repairs, and another fire was the last thing anyone needed. The door opened sharply. Joden flinched, nearly spilling his drink. I can bring the train within a quarter-mile from the southern line, Pegasus said immediately, not even looking up. Any closer and the track will short again. We risk another fire. How long? The foreman asked. From Olorusny Prime, Pegasus paused, running the numbers. Running empty at full speed, 2.5 hours. Do it, the foreman said. His lordship needs to hear what this man has to say. Yes, sir. Pegasus began entering the commands. After a moment, she glanced over at Joden. He still looked like he might collapse where he sat. I've ridden the Sintram, she said, almost absently. It's safe. A pause. Smooth, too. Her eyes returned to the screen. A faint tightening crossed her expression. If only that were the whole truth. Tigris was tired as he made his way back to his small office below the main floors of Aramythica Manor. Nekabit had finally calmed enough to allow her attendants back in for the night. The discussion, surprisingly, had been productive. Between Tigris, the Countess, and Lady Aramythica, some measure of balance had been restored. After a time, Nekabit had permitted her mother to join them. From there, the burden shifted, rightly, to someone better suited to carry it. Tigris had felt distinctly out of place. He was not meant to soothe such grief. Once composed, Nekabit's thoughts had turned, inevitably, to Spring, to her debutante. Lady Aramythica had confirmed what Tigris had already suspected. The royal house intended to welcome Nekabit into Princess Waterlily's circle. The connection ran deeper than most realized. They had known one another as young foals and shared instruction under the same etiquette tutor. Another name had surfaced as well, Andrela of County Rambrook. 18, unmarried, not for lack of attempts, she had driven off more than one suitor by force. Steel, not words. Rumor credited her skill to some hidden power, though no test had confirmed it. It was from Andrela that Nekabit had drawn the idea of learning the sword. Lady Aramythica had thankfully redirected that impulse. Skill alone did not make a path, and imitation could be dangerous. Instead, they had shaped something more practical. Influence, position. If Nekabit entered royal circles as expected, she would not do so quietly. Both the Dowager Queen Mother and Queen Amentressa were already pushing against the boundaries of tradition. Another voice, young, determined, would not be unwelcome. By the end of it, Tigris was satisfied. Change was coming to the valley, whether it was welcomed or not. Nekabit, for all her fire, might yet help guide it. He had asked to be excused. She had dismissed him absently, already turning her attention elsewhere. Lady Aramythica offered a nod of thanks. Tigris left them to it. He opened the door to his office. Small, warm. The lamps were still lit. The stove still held heat. Lortid had been here recently. On the desk, several memoranda waited. Updates on the white crystal mist shortage. The pattern was clear now. Multiple thin vintages. The vineyard terraces were failing. The soil itself was turning against them. Tigris set the papers aside. That problem could wait. He unlocked a drawer and withdrew a sealed message from his lordship. This was something else entirely. He would deal with it in the morning. Tonight, the storm still ruled the valley, and stepping beyond these walls would be death.